The National Democrats are in very, 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 very big trouble. Individual Democratic candidates and some state Democratic parties are doing well, but the National Democratic Party, to read the subtitle of a Fox News article, holds 18.5 million in debt against 16.3 million cash on hand, while the RNC sits at 128.5 million with no debt. The National Democratic Party, in an effort to get a little bit of cash, staked a loan against their own fucking corporate headquarters. Their own corporate headquarters. Unbelievable. They're using their own headquarters as collateral for a $15 million loan. Just $15 million, too. Like, so little by the... Hold on. DNC headquarters. What is this? Wes Austin? Who the fuck is this? Is anyone talking about this?
Imagine losing the White House, Congress, and then your actual house. Democratic leadership just announced a new fundraising plan to secure their future. They're putting their own DC headquarters up as collateral for a $15 million loan. If only instead of spending $1.5 billion
I think this guy might be
on the Kamala Harris campaign, you only spent $1.485 billion.
That's fucking true. Is there no mainstream media coverage of the fucking Democratic Party putting up their own headquarters for a loan? Is no one talking about this? The Democratic Party, the National Democratic Party, is in deep trouble right now because they've completely lost the ability to appeal to their donors. Again, what does it say about the Democratic Party that they lost 2024? There are consequences to continuously losing when you shouldn't be. There are consequences. It leads to down. No, Ken Martin has done an abysmal fucking job as DNC chair. One of his big jobs is soliciting donors. Look at this. DNC lost nearly $29,000 to an email scammer posing as Ken Martin. Why would donors give this fucking party any money? You blow $1.5 billion on Kamala Harris only to lose. And now you're just like, hello, I am Ken Martin, DNC chair. I have lost access to my funds, but for a small amount of only $29,000, you can unlock the DSA fundraising treasure vault, and we can both be rich. A thief scammed the cash-strapped Democratic National Committee out of nearly $29,000 last year. February 2025, an unknown party sent a fraudulent email to a campaign staffer pretending to be Ken Martin. Ken Martin had begun his tenure just days before. The staffer, who is no longer at the DNC, made a payment to the fraudster. How is it even possible for the internal bureaucracy of the DNC to allow a staffer to send $29,000 out? Genuinely. The committee caught the error within minutes and reported it to Wells Fargo, but could only recover $7,000 of the lost money. I'm losing my fucking mind, dog. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Wells Fargo is a scam. That is not what we are talking about right now. You're not incorrect, but that is not what we are talking about right now. If anything, the Democratic Party is a scam. Hold on, where's the fucking UI thing? How do I do this again? Split controls. Oh, here we go. There we go. A lot of negative attention has been drawn. Yeah, thank you, Hayden F4. A lot of negative attention has been drawn towards Ken Martin lately because he's just completely failed in this job here. The whole point of the DNC is to raise and coordinate funding and to try to establish and reinforce a cohesive identity as a party. They aren't the candidates. They don't control the candidates, but they do direct the, general ambition and effort of the party. He's just a boy failure. I mean, definitionally, he's a boy failure. Absolutely. That's for fucking sure. God almighty. Career consultant. He's so fucking disappointing, man. Anyway. Do you think he also cried when he got scammed out of 30K? Well, he didn't get scammed out of it. Remember when he, despite campaigning on releasing a an autopsy of the 2024 election. When he got in power, he said, "No, we're not going to do it." And then it turns out the so-called autopsy was just like a AI written report by one guy who didn't even touch on the topics relevant to the 2024 election. Dude, that was depressing. It is depressing, and it's also kind of the worst case scenario, because rather than the Democratic Party's incompetence being the product of some like internal scheming or cynical dishonesty, it was actually just that everyone involved was mildly corrupt and extremely incompetent. Like it wasn't some big dramatic story of like a Zionist-led effort to destroy internal scrutiny or whatever, some big dramatic thing that could be uncovered and unwound. Rather, it was just the people involved are stupid and like corrupt. It's worse. Because if it was a big scheme, you could at least appeal to the competence of the people inside the party. You could work with their competence. But it's just everyone's stupid and weak. He's stupid and weak. The individual state chairs are often stupid and weak. Everyone's just stupid and weak. And they're malicious too. Don't get me wrong. They're still evil. But even if they weren't evil, they're still stupid and weak. At least if a person is evil but competent, you can appeal to their self-interest. At least then you have the ability to make an argument to them. A failing upwards organization, Jamie Harrison, Ken Martin's predecessor, was even more incompetent. He was more incompetent, but you know what he did? He could fundraise. Ken Martin can't even do that. The Democratic Party is so... Oh my God, I didn't even read this first paragraph. The Democratic Party is so short on cash that leaders at its headquarters have undertaken a new gambit to mask the severity of the problems, asking vendors to not send bills until after the midterm elections. Jesus fucking Christ. You hold an event and you're like, hey, the guy who the people who like bust for the event, you know, the event organizers, the fucking the caterers, can you not send us a bill until like a little bit later, man, please? Could you please not send us a bill until a little bit later? Can you hold off on sending us the bill? I'm begging you, man. I get paid on the 14th. Can you please not send the bill? The bookkeeping maneuver, which was described by 3 people briefed in it, is the latest sign of financial duress for the DNC and its embattled leader as money troubles threaten to undercut Democratic momentum with 100 days till the midterms. Oh, fuck. Can somebody please get me a pass for this article? I beg of you. I'm begging. Please, somebody fucking help me. I'm like the femboy with the milk carton. You get me. At the center is Ken Martin, the 53-year-old party chairman who has found himself increasingly isolated, gripped by the fear that he will lose his job, and relying on a vanishingly small circle of people he trusts, according to interviews with more than 24 Democrats, including current and former DNC officials and members. Martin's frayed nerves are showing. In a peak of frustration in early July, he threw his phone at the desk of a junior aide while upbraiding the person. The phone tossing incident resulted in a formal complaint to the DNC's HR department. Jesus Christ. The fallout from the phone throwing episode was described by half a dozen people familiar with the incident who spoke in the condition of anonymity. Hold on, I have an archive link. Ken Martin just sucks. At his job, yeah. In addition to, like, as a person. The Democratic Party and its allies are far behind Republicans when it comes to money. Trump controls a $400 million super PAC, and the RNC is sitting on nearly $130 million. Martin's DNC is $2 million in debt. Do you know how bad it must be to be in this kind of position, to be in this situation, when the national polling is shifted in your favor? Like, everybody knows the midterms are going to go well for Democrats. Everybody knows this. But in spite of that fact, in spite of momentum shifting more and more towards Democrats' control of Congress, at least of the House, they're still getting no fucking money. No fucking money. Even supporters acknowledge Martin's growing sense of paranoia. He confronted the party's finance director this spring over what he thought was a budding coup. And before he met with the top congressional Democrats, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, assurances were given to an ally of Mr. Barnes. The two party leaders did not plan to use the gathering to call for his resignation. Fuck. Imagine being so bad that you're worried Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are going to lead the popular front against you. Fuck. Trust in Mr. Martin was sapped by his handling of the long-promised autopsy of the 2024 election. Martin is paralyzed by the idea of leaks and surrounded by them. He admitted times were tough and chided his team for revealing to reporters what was happening inside party headquarters. This is a fucking disaster, dude. I'm so fucking tired of the DNC being an organization that relies on failing upward. Like, just, it's all they fucking do. It's all they do. Every fucking time a progressive runs within the Democratic Party, Voltron of every failure establishment hog who does nothing but lead the party towards disaster assembles to tut them and block them from power. Thankfully, now they seem to be losing, but like, Jesus Christ, read the writing on the wall, man. Oh, fuck. Mr. Martin, at said meeting with his team, said he saw, quote, a lot of down faces and, quote, people hanging their heads. He urged, keep your head up, keep a smile on your face. My success is your success, he added. So the weaker I am, the weaker all of you are. I genuinely think this level of contempt for the people of this country should be met with legal charges. I really think he should be in jail. Treating, like, seriously, every fucking leader in the Democratic Party is like this, totally self-interested. No interest in doing better by the voters, just like, hey guys, remember, we're on this together. If they go after me, they go after you. We're all just treating this like a regular job. They act like they're just a regular corporate job. They act like there's some underperforming department in a massive mega corporation that just needs to keep their chin up, and maybe we can avoid getting the firing, you know? Maybe we can avoid the layoffs. And not, you know, a representation of not the representatives of the party that is literally like on the line for saving the planet right now. They're all acting like they're trying to get employee for the month. It's genuinely fucking insane. It's so fucking bad. Just remember, the DSA is the pro-democracy flank within the Democratic Party right now. To the extent that they represent a change to this. So bad. DSA establishment, where they come. Hey, listen, the DSA is literally right now better at raising money than the DNC is. Have you seen Deepak arguing against DSA these days? Not surprising. Deepak and people like him are representations of the media wing of the DNC as it exists now. A vestigial, patronage-driven organization whose job it is to enforce the status quo and make sure the party doesn't improve. It's like a war against the will of the Democratic Party as a constituency, the voters. The relevance of DSA people is the irrelevance of people like Deepak, who represent the decay of this country and a sort of prolonged handover to voter apathy. None of these people care about this country or Democratic voters. It was kind of interesting because I don't think, unlike most libs, he tries to argue why he thinks socialism is bad. I'm so uninterested. So uninterested. None of these people believe in anything. It's like reading an Iglesias article or looking at Ezra Klein making his spirited 400,000th defense of the status quo. These people's jobs are to shore up and represent this wing of do-nothing democratic politics. Better things aren't possible. Anyone running on a progressive flank or to oust like do-nothing Democrats or to fight against the system of patronage and ethnic resentment that dominates internal politics in the Democratic Party, all of these people are the enemy. The real way to you know, champion the will of the Democratic Party is to subscribe to my fucking Substack. The single biggest expense in the Martin era was $7.3 million to buy the remnants of Harris's campaign list from her failed 2024 bid. Jesus Christ. The single biggest expense was collecting the smoldering remains of a failed 2024 presidential campaign. The DNC is so broke, they're leveraging their own headquarters for a 15 loan. It would literally be better if they'd blown off the money on blackjack and hookers. At least then some of the people in the National Democratic Party might be fucking happy.